what's going on, y'all? T-Bob here.
And Jake as well.
And you're about to watch a little OTB LSU.
We're going to give you all the latest, greatest between LSU football, baseball, women's basketball, softball, and everything in between.
Bottom line, if you want to talk Tigers, keep it locked, subscribe, like it, and we hope you enjoy.
The New Orleans Saints offensive coordinator search continues, and yesterday Jeff Ireland was here at the Senior Bowl, Jake addressing the media, and Dennis Allen is not here. Actually, he was here last year, but he's not here because, well, he's looking for a new OC. Coming up today, former Bears offensive coordinator Luke Getsy is getting a second interview. He's someone who seems to have a lot of juice behind him. Yesterday, they interviewed Ravens wide receiver coach Greg Lewis, who's a longtime Andy Reid assistant. You're now looking at like 11 candidates that have been interviewed. 4 have already taken jobs. According to New Orleans football team, like Getsy has a lot of momentum. And then also, it seems like Clint Kubiak. Is it Kubiak or Kubiak? Kubiak. Seems like 49ers passing game coordinator Clint Kubiak has juice as well. I mean, obviously, he's young. Well, that's not obvious. What is obvious is he's worked.
Gary Kubiak's not that old, so
yeah, fair. But I mean, obviously he knows Shanahan, right? And McVay and Shanahan, that's like how you get jobs nowadays. I didn't realize this. He actually called plays for the Vikings in 21 and the Broncos in 22. So Kubiak may be a guy. I don't know that I have too much to say on the names themselves. Do you have anything?
I mean, it's getting to a point where it's all right. I get that. You know, the Bengals, like, their quarterback coach got elevated to OC. So, yeah, certainly he's going to stay there with Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. Like, yeah, sure. Like, quarterback coaches turning down OC jobs. I'm not saying that they're wrong in doing it, but, like, is that a red flag?
Well, have they been turned down by someone yet, though?
I mean,
I don't know that I've seen that on the record. I just haven't seen that report
but it's just
yet on the
like,
record.
you know, the Texans, John's like, yeah, I'm going to stay here as a QB coach. I don't know. Like, I don't know if he got offered the job, but now you're talking about hiring somebody that got fired from a bad offense and the Bears. That doesn't fit, like, the scheme that you have. Like, if Taysom was your quarterback, then, okay, yeah, sure, I guess.
Yeah. I mean,
but that's like, let's be honest. Like,
no, I think Kubiak. Okay,
Kubiak feels like
he seems the most exciting.
He feels like the most exciting because Shanahan and everything Shanahan does, and all the pre-snap movement and shifts and motions, and that is all very exciting. And he's got a lot of weapons, and he knows how to use his weapons.
And he's already passing game, and he's passing game coordinator there right now.
The 49ers are so good because they know exactly how to use every weapon that they have. From George Kittle to C-Mac to Juszczyk to Deebo Samuel. Well, Saints got some stuff that could look similar to that.
100%.
Look, guys, I'm not saying Taysom Hill is Deebo Samuel. Like, they're a different skill set. But Taysom Hill has some things to his game that you could try to mirror in that same image.
Oh, bro,
right? So there's some likeness to it.
The Saints have varied offensive personnel. You have Rashid Shaheed to take the top off. You have Chris Olave, who's your deep to intermediate threat. You have Juwan Johnson, who I think can, I think he can be one of the better receiving tight ends in the NFL. You have Taysom Hill, who's about as unique of a weapon as anybody in the NFL. I hesitate to give Kendra Miller too much hype, but looks strong that final week. I still think, okay, you're going to tell me one thing for me is I love what has happened to CMC in San Francisco. I think you can still do some of that with Alvin Kamara. You just have to put him in positions to succeed. Whereas the last few years, it's just been like focus everything on Kamara and you will benefit if you're the defense. So if Kubiak is the guy, then the timing's fine, Yeah. Because you're not going to hire him until after the Niners are done. But we'll see. The thing that I wanted to touch on as well, though, is Ireland did say that the choice of OC absolutely affects the scouting process.
Yeah.
And so while they're here,
question.
it's a bit unfortunate that – now, he didn't say unfortunate. I'm saying it's potentially a bit unfortunate that they're not able to know like what you were talking about Mark Dominant, right? A coordinator says, okay, what are the 10 traits you look for? They're not able to kind of make decisions based off of that. So they're having to do a little more surface level evaluation, and then later they'll have to circle back around and say, okay, this is what you prioritize. Well, we think this is a guy that matches those priorities.
And also, the Saints have built-in advantages here for this event. They're the closest NFL team to this event.
Yeah.
They can send more people to this event because they can say, hey, go 2 hours down the road to Mobile. You can come back tomorrow. You don't have to spend the whole week. And oftentimes they've taken advantage of that. Like, you talk to different people around this game, and they always talk about, well, the Saints kind of do the Senior Bowl a little bit different. They have more of those in-depth combine-type interviews at the Senior Bowl because they can send, like, their full staff here.
Yeah.
Can they do that this year? Like, maybe some on the defensive side. Offensive side, what the hell are you going over? Like, what are you going to go on the board about? You don't know what you're running.
Yeah, exactly. That's one of the things that I don't fully understand, how you're supposed to do this. I mean, after the Super Bowl, it should happen immediately, right? Or before, if it's not Kubiak and you like Getsy or one of these other names. So the offensive coordinator search continues, but just from reading resumes and whatnot, Kubiak feels the most exciting to me, and we'll see if that's the case. Cell of Awareness says, hearing folks sell the 24 Saints is like a used car salesman pushing the benefits of the 1988 Suzuki Samurai he has available. Sad. Look, again, no, I don't. Oh, whatever. I'm not going to pump Sunshine, but we shouldn't go too far with them being awful. They were huge disappointments this year, but there are some building blocks there. They also did talk about, when it comes to edge rushers, that kind of changing their profile a little bit. They think they need a more speedy guy sometimes to help with those mobile quarterbacks, which I'm like, well, isn't that kind of Zach Bond, And you finally started using him like that and it paid dividends. So we'll see what they end up doing.
Cam and Granderson are more, I don't want to say like run.
They've always liked bigger guys that can do both. They've always liked bigger guys that can do both more.
Yeah. You drafted one in the second round last year, Saints, Isaiah Foskey.
Well, and again, Triplett mentions that in his piece, basically saying that was the idea behind Foskey, and it just didn't pan out.
Wow, Jake, what incredible takes.
I mean, those guys, they're just the best.
I think so. And if you think so, again, hit the like button, subscribe, ring the bell so you get notifications when we post every single day here on OTB LSU.